Part 29. Flashback Interior University Hallway Day. Students have just stepped out of class. The air is full of that mid-morning break vibe. Chatter, laughter, unzipped backpacks. Fagioli leans against a column, his gaze cold and calculating. Next to him are Antonio, a tall guy with a freshly styled shiny head of hair, and Marco, the class clown. Fagioli eyes Antonio, giving him a look somewhere between fake curiosity and sarcasm. Fagioli, with a poisonous smile, sharp tone, "Antonio, what happened at the barber? Did he cut you crooked? Or was it a failed landscaping experiment?" A few giggles ripple through the group. Antonio runs a hand through his hair, pretends to laugh, but looks thrown off. Marco jumps in, seizing the moment with a loud voice that carries halfway down the hall. Marco, laughing out loud, "Come on, Fagioli. What do you know about haircuts? For you, a barber is optional. You don't even have hair." Laughter erupts. Someone slaps a desk. Antonio laughs it off, relieved. On the other side of the hallway, side comments begin to fly. Lightly spoken, but sharp as razor blades. Student 1, "Well, poor guy. It's not his fault." Student 2, "Yeah, but maybe he shouldn't have made that crack about the barber." Student 3, "He was asking for it, honestly." Student 4, "Marco's right. All Fagioli's missing is some head polish." Female student, ironically under her breath, "Come on, it's not his fault he started going bald at 16. Student 3, more serious, dry tone, "Yeah, but if you can't laugh at yourself, you're done for." Student 1, softly smiling, "Still, Fagioli was right. That barber didn't do a great job." Student 2, "Sure, but not worse than how Fagioli looks." Fagioli stands motionless, a tight smile on his lips. But his eyes are ice. He says nothing. Doesn't react, not yet. He simply stares at Marco, in silence. With unsettling calm, "Igor, can someone explain this? Why does hair always fall out on the people with no sense of humor?" SavedBlog.com, Part 30. Flashback. Interior Fagioli's bathroom evening. Fagioli stands in front of the bathroom mirror. He runs his fingers over his scalp again and again, inspecting the receding hairline growing more obvious each day. He stops, stares at his reflection. Suddenly, his father's voice, imaginary, sharp and commanding, echoes in his head. Father, harsh, imperious, "Look at yourself. You can't even stand up to a kid. And look at that hair, rather. That misery." Fagioli swallows hard, lowers his gaze. Father, even sharper, almost scornful, I had a full head of hair at your age." "Full? Not this barren wasteland." Fagioli grips the sink tightly, his knuckles turning white. Fagioli, softly like a scolded child, I couldn't do it." Father's voice, violent, almost growling. "Enough with the excuses. Shame isn't washed away with tears. If you don't react now, you'll never react." Fagioli remains still, eyes glassy, but his jaw clenches. Father's voice, cold, commanding, "I order you. Tomorrow, you go back there, and you fight back." Fagioli raises his gaze. In the mirror. For a split second, it's as if his father is looking back at him, thick hair, blazing eyes. Igor, according to his dead great-grandpa, Fagioli losing hair was his own fault. He should have held on to it with mind power. Too bad the thoughts scared the hair away. Let's be honest, who wants to live inside Fagioli's head all day? A maze of trauma, hose, and homeowner regulations. SavedBlog.com, Part 31. Flashback, Fagioli's house night. Fagioli is still in the bathroom, hands gripping the sink. He breathes heavily. Then, as if trying to distract himself, he walks out and throws himself onto the couch. He turns on the TV. Zap, 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 channels flick past, commercials. A black and white movie, a documentary. Then the screen freezes. The school psychologist appears, but it's not a show. It's as if he's staring straight into Fagioli's eyes. Psychologist. Calm, deep, cutting tone. You've suffered. I know, but blind rage won't help you. Strength lies in the mind. Fagioli, staring at the screen, hypnotized. I can't do it. Psychologist, gently smiling. Yes, you can, but you need strategy. You need to observe. The camera slowly closes in on Fagioli's face, lit only by the TV glow. Psychologist, continuing. Watch for their flaws, their weaknesses, the cracks in their armor. Everyone has them. Everyone. Fagioli, barely audible. Even Marco? Psychologist, especially Marco. Find his weak point. Show him who's in charge. Fagioli nods slowly, silently. Psychologist, that's your moment. You don't need to shout. You don't need revenge. You need control. A symbolic image fades in on the screen, a hand clutching puppet strings. Psychologist, softly. Control is discipline. It's order. It's power. And you were born for this. To lead, not to bow. Igor off screen. Fagioli was searching for his enemy's weak spots, but all he kept finding were hairs on his pillow. Maybe sometimes the real enemy is within. SavedBlog.com, Part 32, Flashback. University Lecture Hall, morning. The classroom is packed. Students sit in anticipation, some peeking at notes, others pretending to pay attention. On the right side, Fagioli sits silently, his gaze locked on Marco, who approaches the front of the room. Marco holds some crumpled sheets. He adjusts his t-shirt, runs a hand through his hair, as he always does when he's nervous. Professor, go ahead, Marco. It's your turn. 5 minutes, you may begin. Marco inhales. He starts to speak, but his voice catches in his throat. Marco, stammering, instantly blushing. Good morning. Today I wanted to, someone at the back of the room starts to snicker. Marco lowers his eyes. His hands tremble. His face grows red, right up to his ears. He stops. For at least 10 seconds, total silence. Someone clears their throat awkwardly. Fagioli watches it all. Motionless, hands folded, eyes narrowed, focused. Fagioli, internal thought icy. So, there it is, the weak spot. Marco takes a deep breath, grips the papers tightly, and slowly regains control. Marco, voice shaky but steadier. And so, in conclusion, we can say that nonverbal communication is important to convey emotions. Polite applause. Marco returns to his seat, still flushed but relieved. Fagioli watches him. Serious, silent. But in his mind, something is already taking shape. Igor. What was taking shape in Fagioli's mind? Well, it definitely wasn't a new hairstyle. SavedBlog.com, waiting room. Paco. And do you know what else is fascinating about butterflies? Banani. What? Paco, migration. Papaya. I've heard about that in some documentary. Paco. Yes, because it's well known in some butterflies like monarchs, but they're far from the only ones. Painted ladies also undergo mass migrations, using the sun's position as a compass to navigate. Ravioli. Really? I actually didn't know that. Paco. Butterflies are also somehow able to take advantage of wind currents to migrate more efficiently. Papaya. Kind of like birds when they glide. Paco. Exactly. Only butterflies are much lighter and more delicate, so they have to be even more careful. If they catch the wrong current, they get thrown off course, or worse. Banani. Yeah, but they don't go very far. Paco. On the contrary. Some of these migrations can cover almost 2,500 miles in a single generation by a butterfly smaller than a child's hand. Even some populations of the cabbage white, Pieris rape, migrate. They mostly travel with their backs to the sun, sometimes crossing mountain ranges regularly from spring to autumn. Ravioli, that's impressive. Paco, more than that, it's divine design. SavedBlog.com